The reason we're here today is to celebrate one of Reading's most iconic buildings, Reading Prison, and also one of the prison's most iconic prisoners, Oscar Wilde.
The significance of Reading Prison in my family is obviously that my grandfather was incarcerated here.
Reading Gaol closed its doors in January 2014, and the exhibition is to commemorate the importance of the building. We have a lot of documents here at the Record Office and at the university that help us to tell that story.
So much has been written about Oscar's time at the prison, but most of it has been written from Wilde's point of view. What we'd like to try and do is tell the story from the prison's point of view instead.
I came to this exhibition and I got a flavour of the reality of life in Reading Gaol in the Victorian era. It reminds us of the story of this jail, from when it was built, how it was built, the original design by Gilbert Scott, the way it grew up, how it dominated its part of town.
And it brings alive very much the conditions of the prison at the time, the sort of inmates that he was associating with, although associating is perhaps the wrong word, since it was a silent regime and solitary confinement.
The ordinary men and women, because women were at the prison as well, what their lives were, the kind of offences that these people were imprisoned for, petty offences in the main, burglary, begging, poaching, trespassing, those sorts of things, as well as much more serious offences.
But it gives one an idea of what Wilde himself must have been going through as a man of culture, a man of intelligence, a man of education, and initially without pen and paper, amongst these labourers and felons and thieves and so on who were in prison with him.
Some of the things that we've got on display relate to people that Wilde wrote about. So for example, there's the execution register that details the death of Trooper Charles Wooldridge, the soldier to whom the Ballad of Reading Gaol is dedicated and about whom its subject matter takes part. And so that details not just the mechanics of Wooldridge's execution, but also little snippets about how the hangman did at his job.
I think it's a wonderful example of a meeting between the kind of intellectual precision, the resources of a town that had a very compelling history, and people's understanding of issues that remain both locally and globally relevant today.
But what is so brilliant about this exhibition is that it brings it all alive, and Reading Gaol is part of the heritage of Reading, and because of Oscar Wilde, it's part of the cultural heritage of the British Isles. And we've got to look to the future. And the future has to be informed by the past. And, you know, in a curious sort of way, both the Record Office and the university, if you know anything about them, they're as modern as tomorrow. But clearly they've got a lot of time for yesterday. And this is a celebration of the best and the worst of our heritage. And it's done quite brilliantly. And you must go.
After tonight, the exhibition is going to be on display at the Berkshire Record Office until the 6th of February 2015. It'll be on during our normal office opening hours, and anybody is welcome to come in and have a look at it. It's free and you don't have to book.